Hey mamas, it is Rachel from A Mother Far From Home. And so today I want to talk about sharing. All of our sharing issues, well, our kids' sharing issues. But before I do that, I want to talk about something very quickly that is important, not only in this and in life and just in general. And that is if you don't have a problem, you don't need to find a solution. So if your kids don't have a problem sharing, you don't need a solution. You don't need to make a rule or a system. If you don't have a problem with pantry organization, you don't need to adopt some kind of crazy solution. Just because you see a solution for something doesn't mean you need to do anything about it if you don't have a problem. So if you don't have a problem with the kids sharing, go enjoy your day. I never want anybody to feel like they're watching my videos, reading my posts, reading my emails, and being like, there's so much I need to do. If you don't have a problem, you don't need a solution. Okay? Cool. So, what I do want to talk about is sharing. And now, if you have kids, like say you just have a son and a daughter and they don't want to share each other's toys, you probably don't have any problems. If you have two kids, even if they're the same gender but they're really far apart in age, they probably don't want to share each other's toys. So, this really kind of comes more into effect if you have kids closer in age, multiple kids, especially if they're the same gender. And like my daughter, nobody wants to play with her toys, so she never has any problems with this. But all my boys do because they're so close in age. It just comes up all the time. So these are kind of the situations, or if you have a lot of friends over often, cousins, and then they kind of get into sharing issues. So that's a bit of a different discussion but we'll get into that. So the reason my husband and I finally one day were like, we got to do something about this because the kids were always coming up to us for us to referee their like disputes. Like, this is my truck, and like it was mine, and I got it for my birthday 3 years ago, and it was like I never knew where it was until my brother had it, and now I really want it. And so we always felt like they wanted us to, we were setting timers. Okay, you get it for 20 minutes, you get it for 20 minutes. Well, who had it first? Well, I set it down to pee, and then I came back and it was gone. Well, I didn't know you would. On and on. And we just felt like what we were doing so much of the day was they were coming to us for us to decide. So one thing we had previously done, and this did work to an extent, is say, okay, well, you have it now. When do you think you'll share it? And then they'll be like, in like 5 minutes. And then they would probably share it in like 30 seconds, because it's all about power, being able to keep it, and that kind of worked, but it still felt like we always had to do it. So I brought this up in my language of listening training group, and this is a language of listening, something straight from Sandy Blackard, who's the language of listening founder, which I have absolutely loved. I'm an authorized coach. I have loved it. So one thing she said, and it was about the principles of ownership. So for example, there are like 3 ways for ownership. It belongs to you, so say it is actually yours. You have it now, so it's in your possession. What is that? Like possession is 3/10? No, 3/4. Something of the law, whatever, I don't know. So you have it, so it's yours, it's actually yours. You have it now, or you had it first, okay? Because any number of these can make a child feel like they own it, right? What is that? There's like this meme that's like, I played with it once, I touched it, I looked at it, it's mine. So her advice was just, get together with the kids, decide which one of these kind of principles of ownership you want to go with, and then that's what you go with. So what we chatted with the kids, and we all decided together that who it belongs to was going to be our rule. And so if the kids start fighting about a toy, whoever it belongs to gets it. The end. Now, I never know who, like, we have so many trucks and like pieces of Lego, and some of the boys are like, this one little piece of Lego was really special to me, and so I'm going to rip apart this other child's entire Lego creation. Now, that's kind of a bit much, I don't really go down that road. But for the main big toys, when they come and say, this is mine, or I had it. And so one of the kids came up with the phrase, who it matters who it belongs to. And so since then we have so much less issue. And now, so much less issue with the sharing, so much less worrying about refereeing. Whoever it is just always gets to have it back. Because what happens is they get a toy, I don't know, 2 minutes later, it's back in the communal toys, and then everybody plays with it. But I want to touch on this before I have a bunch of people write me being like, but then they don't ever learn to share, they never learn to, but whatever. So first of all, we live in a house of 7 people. Like, literally, they share everything. We share everything all the time. Everybody has to accommodate everybody else all the time. So in our home, it is not creating a sense of not having to share. It's actually the opposite. They almost feel like nothing is theirs because there's so many of them. Might be different for you, but that's where that plays out for us. And also, and this is important, if a child feels like they never get to play with something, they want to hoard it, right? This is when you see kids like hoarding all of this stuff, is they want to make sure they get to keep it because they, so if there's this sense going on, if you feel like you can sense it, you'll know. I don't need to tell you. If your child's like, no, 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 I want to keep it, I want to get it, it's probably because they feel like they never get to keep the toys that they want to keep. They never get to just play with them. So by saying, if it's yours, you can have it anytime, actually, it might sound counterintuitive, but they share more because they're like, it's mine. I know that I can have it. So now I don't feel like I need to prove that it's mine. So now I can be generous with it. So I have found that the kids are way more generous now that they know they can always get back what's theirs. So like you could choose any of the ways. So it's and again, you do not need a solution if you do not have a problem. So it's only if you have sharing issues going on. You get together with the kids, let them choose, because then they uphold it. Like all the kids don't argue with this rule because they were all there when we made it. Who it actually belongs to. And now if it's something like a tablet where they share, then you would move on down to the next ones, right? So who it actually belongs to, who had it first, who has it now. So you pick one, and then that's the one you stick with, and that's how you dispute resolute. So this might work for you, it might not, but I want to throw it out there if you're finding that you're having this problem of sharing in your family. And so make sure, if you have any friends who have multiple kids that are close together in the same age and there's a lot of sharing issues, tag them if you think this will help them. And if you have a different way, again, if you have a way that works, then you don't have a problem. So you don't need this solution, okay? So you don't tell me why you don't need to do this, because I know that you don't need to do this if you don't have a problem. But I do want to know if you already have something that you do that works, share that as well, so that we can just have a bunch of good ideas for those, and to come back and look, and I can, when I send this video out, anybody else who's looking might be like, oh, that seems to work better for me. So I hope that you guys are doing okay, or good, or better, or great. And I hope this was helpful if you guys are having some sharing issues since we're home, and since all day long is all together, kids all together all day long. This might be coming to a head even more than normal. So I hope this was helpful. Bye for now.